Have you ever wondered why your relationship with your mother is so complicated, so full of conflicts that seem to have no explanation? What if I told you that this is not a coincidence, but part of a divine preparation for something much greater? As a chosen one, God placed you on this journey with a clear purpose, and your mother, no matter how toxic she may seem, is a crucial piece in this plan. Today, I am going to reveal the real reason behind this difficult dynamic and how it is directly linked to your calling. Staying through this video could be the first step to understanding the message that God wants to convey to you, and I guarantee, this revelation can change your life forever. How many times have you wondered why the person who should be your greatest support seems to be your greatest pain? Why does the mother, the one who should welcome you, seem to be the one who hurts, criticizes, or limits you the most? The pain you feel is not a mistake, nor a coincidence. It is a tool used by God to prepare you as a chosen one. By staying through this video, you will discover how this relationship, no matter how difficult it is part of God's greater plan for your life. There is a revelation waiting for you, and by understanding it, your perspective on yourself and your mission in the world will never be the same. As a chosen one, you know that your life is different. You carry a purpose that often you don't fully understand, but one thing is certain: your journey is full of challenges, and some of them may be closer than you think, within your own home. Your mother, the person who should be your greatest supporter, sometimes seems to be your greatest source of conflict. But is this just a coincidence? Or is there something much greater happening? God has grand plans for you, and the first field of learning always begins where we are most vulnerable, in the family. The people closest to us, like your mother, can be used by God to shape you, test your patience, strengthen your faith, and prepare you for greater missions. Therefore, when you face toxic or challenging behaviors, it may be a call to see beyond the apparent. Perhaps you have already felt suffocated by constant criticism, controlled by rules that don't make sense, or worse, rejected in ways you can't understand. This pain is real, and many chosen ones go through it. The relationship with your mother may seem like a barrier, but what if, in reality, she is an essential part of your spiritual training? Understand that, spiritually, nothing happens by chance. God does not place challenges in your life without reason. When you face difficulties in your relationship with your mother, it may be a sign that He is shaping you. It is in moments of greatest tension that your strength, resilience, and clarity are tested. God uses even the most difficult situations to teach us something powerful. Have you ever stopped to think why this happens specifically to you? Signs such as excessive criticism, unfair comparisons, or even emotional distance may be clues to something much greater. These experiences, though painful, are like a spiritual alert. God is calling you to see beyond appearances and find the purpose behind the chaos. It is important to understand that your mother is also part of a greater plan. She may not realize it, but God is using the difficulties between you to strengthen you. It is not about blaming her or harboring grudges, but about seeing the divine purpose in each situation. You were chosen, and this means that your journey will be full of lessons, even in the most challenging relationships. Now the question is, how do you react to all this? Your reaction to these challenges can determine how much you will grow spiritually. God does not expect perfection, but He expects you to trust Him, even when things seem unfair or unbearable. Every act of patience, forgiveness, and faith is another step in your walk as a chosen one. When you feel alone or misunderstood, remember that God is by your side. He sees your struggles, understands your pains, and wants to guide you. Even when it seems that your mother is against you, God is using this for your good. He wants you to grow, strengthen, and learn to face the world with faith and resilience. What does God expect from you in the midst of all this? He wants you to seek understanding, to look for the truth in His words, and not to let hurt take over your heart. Your journey as a chosen one requires you to see beyond the obvious, to trust in the greater purpose, and to stay focused on what truly matters: your spiritual growth. When you think about your mother and the toxicity that permeates your relationship, understand, God, in His infinite wisdom, allows certain challenges to arise in our lives to shape our character. The relationship with your mother may actually be a reflection of areas you need to work on spiritually. Perhaps your patience, compassion, or even your ability to forgive are being tested. Each conflict can be an opportunity for growth. God does not place challenges in our path to punish us, but to strengthen us. Often, He uses the people closest to us, like our parents, to reveal our hidden weaknesses. Your mother may be acting as a mirror, bringing to the surface wounds and emotional patterns that you need to overcome to fulfill your mission as a chosen one. This process may seem painful, but it is an essential step on your path to spiritual evolution. Now, let's analyze the generational factor. Often, the toxic attitudes of a mother do not originate from you, but from traumas she carries from past generations. Perhaps she lived in an environment of emotional deprivation, abuse, or neglect, and these patterns were perpetuated throughout the family lineage. As a chosen one, you have the mission to identify these cycles and break them, bringing light where there was only darkness. These inherited traumas are specific challenges that God places before you because He knows you have the strength to overcome them. As a chosen one, you are not just dealing with your own journey, but also with a spiritual legacy that will impact future generations. Every step you take to heal these wounds is a step towards liberation, not just for you, but for your entire lineage. It is important to remember that nothing is in vain. The difficulties with your mother may be a way for God to teach you lessons that you will need for your greater calling. Resilience, patience, and unconditional love are qualities that are not born out of comfort, but out of overcoming challenges. Difficult relationships are the ground where these virtues are cultivated. One of the hardest but also most transformative lessons is to learn to love unconditionally, even in the face of toxic behaviors. This does not mean accepting abuse or ignoring healthy boundaries, but rather seeing beyond the pain and recognizing that the other person is also fighting their own spiritual battles. God uses these moments to expand your capacity to love, even when it seems impossible. You, as a chosen one, have a crucial role to be the agent of transformation in your family. When you decide to act with wisdom, love, and compassion, you break negative patterns and create new paths of light. This transformation begins within you and, as a reflection, extends to everyone around you, including your mother. Forgiving your mother may be one of the hardest tasks you will face, but it is also one of the most liberating. Forgiveness is not for her, but for you. It cuts the ties of bitterness that bind you to the past, allowing you to move forward on the path that God has prepared for you. By forgiving, you free yourself and your lineage from a cycle of pain. The greatest purposes are born from the greatest pains. Your experience with a toxic mother is not just a burden, but also a disguised gift. It is through these experiences that you become stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the role that God has reserved for you as a chosen one. Your pain can be the testimony that will inspire others to find their strength. Trust that God is in control of everything. He knows every tear you have shed and every prayer you have made. He is working on you and your mother, even if you don't see it now. Your relationship may not be perfect, but it is part of God's perfect plan for your life. Keep your faith firm because He will not abandon you. You are chosen, and nothing is greater than the mission that God has placed in your hands. And what if I told you that there is a specific path to transform this relationship with your mother and heal the wounds she left? This path can completely change your life as a chosen one. Stay with me, because later in this video I will share the steps that God has revealed to achieve true forgiveness and the spiritual transformation you so desperately need. Now stop and reflect. Why would God allow a mother, who should be a source of love and care, to act toxically? It seems contradictory at first glance, but this is where divine wisdom comes in. God does not cause suffering, but He uses it as a tool for our spiritual growth. He knows that certain lessons can only be learned in the fire of trials. Your mother, with all the challenges she presents, may be an essential part of God's plan to prepare you for something much greater. God allows this difficult relationship because He sees beyond the present pain. He sees the purpose. Your mother, even with her flaws, was chosen as an instrument of learning for you. It is through this challenging coexistence that you learn to practice patience, resilience, and above all, unconditional love. Not because she deserves it or not, but because that is the calling of a chosen one, to grow, even amidst chaos. Furthermore, God uses this experience to teach you about compassion on a deeper level. When you begin to understand that your mother is also a result of her own pains and traumas, your perspective changes. You realize that she is not just hurting you, but she is also trapped in a spiritual battle. This awareness does not justify toxic attitudes, but it helps you see beyond her behavior, accessing wisdom that only a chosen one can comprehend. God does not want you to merely survive this relationship, but to transform it. He has given you unique spiritual gifts for this purpose. You are called to break cycles that have perpetuated for generations, to bring light where there was once shadow. Your mother, even unknowingly, is an essential piece in this spiritual puzzle. She is there to show you where the deepest wounds are, not just in your life, but in your entire family lineage. This transformation process begins when you understand that forgiveness is not about justifying what was done, but about freeing yourself from the weight that this pain carries. God is calling you to forgive, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary for you to move forward on your journey. And most importantly, He is guiding you every step of the way. By allowing this experience, God is also teaching you the difference between love and boundaries. Loving your mother does not mean accepting destructive behaviors. On the contrary, God wants you to learn to protect yourself emotionally while still keeping your heart open to love and compassion. This journey is not just about your mother or the challenges she presents. It is about you. It is about the chosen one you are becoming. Every tear, every confrontation, and every act of forgiveness is part of a greater plan. God is shaping you for something extraordinary, and this relationship, as painful as it may be, is part of the training He has chosen for you. I know it hurts, but this pain is molding you to be stronger, wiser, and better prepared for the purpose that God has placed in your life. Maybe you feel alone in this journey, questioning why you have to face something so difficult with someone who should be your source of love and security. I want you to know that your pain is not ignored. God sees every tear you shed and understands the burden you carry. Think of the nights when you wondered if something was wrong with you, when in fact, this experience is part of a greater plan. This difficult relationship is not about destroying you, but about building you up. God is using this pain to shape you, removing all the layers that do not belong to the amazing being He has planned. I know there are moments when it seems impossible to go on. The pain of feeling that your mother, the person who should be your safe harbor, is the same one who often causes wounds, can seem unbearable. But God did not give you this battle because you are weak. He gave it to you because He knew you were strong enough to face it and, more importantly, to overcome it. No matter how difficult it is, you are not facing this alone. God is by your side, walking with you, guiding every step, even on days when it seems you are lost. He is teaching you to love in a way that transcends pain and goes beyond what you imagined you were capable of. And even in the midst of chaos, there is beauty. There is beauty in the growth you are experiencing, in the lessons you are learning, and in the strength you are discovering within yourself. God is transforming your tears into seeds of wisdom and your struggles into powerful testimonies that will one day inspire others. Even in the most difficult relationships, there is something to be thankful for. Ask yourself, what has my mother done positively in my life? What important lessons has she taught me, even if harshly? Gratitude is a powerful tool that shifts the focus from what you lost to what you gained. This opens the space for a more balanced view, essential for forgiveness. Understand that forgiveness does not mean justifying what happened or ignoring your pain. Forgiving is saying, I will not carry this burden with me anymore. When you forgive, you are freeing yourself emotionally and spiritually, allowing God to begin working fully in your life. It is an act of liberation, not submission. A practical tool for working on forgiveness is to write a letter to your mother, even if you never send it. Write about your feelings, hurts, and also what you have learned from her. Then write the words, I choose to forgive you. This exercise allows you to organize your emotions and release accumulated weight. Forgiveness is not a one-time event. It is a daily process. Each time a hurt resurfaces, consciously choose to forgive. Repeat to yourself, I choose to release this to God. Over time, this constant practice creates a new perspective and lasting peace. Use your imagination as a spiritual tool. Visualize God wrapping you and your mother in a mantle of light and love. Imagine the emotional barriers being dissolved and the relationship being restored. This practice, besides bringing peace to your heart, strengthens your faith in the divine plan for this situation. Accepting your mother as she is, with her virtues and flaws, is liberating. Acceptance does not mean resignation, but understanding that you cannot change the past or the other person. This acceptance allows you to focus your energy on transforming yourself and moving forward without being stuck in hurt. Completely surrender the situation into God's hands. Say, Lord, I trust that you will do justice and act according to your will. When you leave judgment to God, you release your heart from the need for revenge or holding on to hurt. Remember, God is the righteous judge, and He knows how to take care of every detail. Trust in Him and allow yourself to live in peace. In moments of difficulty, it may seem that God is silent, but know that He is working behind the scenes. The relationship with your mother, no matter how complicated it is under His watchful eyes. Trust that God uses all things for the good of those who love Him and are aligned with His purpose. This trust is the first step to finding peace in the midst of the storm. Even if it is difficult, start to show love. Small gestures, like a kind word or a silent prayer, can begin to transform the environment. Do not expect immediate changes, but believe in the power of love as a healing agent. God is love, and when you act with love, you are allowing His presence to manifest in the relationship. No change happens overnight. Both you and your mother are in a process of learning and healing. Be patient with yourself and with her. Each prayer, each act of forgiveness, each effort to understand are seeds you are planting. In due time, God will bring forth the fruits. Now listen carefully, because this is the truth that God is placing in your heart at this moment. You have been chosen to heal your family's lineage. Yes, all the pain, all the rejection, all the conflict you have experienced was not by chance. The toxicity you feel, which sometimes seems overwhelming, is a reflection of past wounds that have remained open for generations. But here is the revelation: you are not just living your story. You are changing the destiny of all the generations that will come after you. God has chosen you to be the bridge between what was broken and what will be restored. Your mother may not understand this now, and perhaps she never will, but God is revealing to you that through your growth, your forgiveness, and your strength, He will bring about a transformation that goes beyond what the eyes can see. Chosen one, if you felt a chill just now, if something in your heart seems to burn with this truth, it is because God is speaking directly to you. He wants you to forgive, but not as someone who forgets and ignores the pain. God wants you to forgive with wisdom, with the strength that comes from Him, and with the understanding that this is part of your purpose. Your mission is great, and that is why the battles you face are also intense. But remember, you are not alone. God is with you, guiding every step of the way. So rise up, pray, seek strength in Him, and do not stop until you have fulfilled the calling He has placed in your life. You are not just a victim of circumstances. You are an agent of divine healing. God chose you because He knew you were capable. Share your story in the comments. By doing so, we create a space of support and exchange, because each story can be a light for another chosen one facing the same challenge. Thank you for making it this far. If this content resonated with your heart, like this video, follow the channel, and share it with those who might also identify with this message. If you want to discover what no one tells you about the chosen ones being so dangerous, the next video is for you. Click now and find out.